I'm joined this evening by State GOP Chairman Ed Cox. Ed, thanks very much for joining us.
Well, it is always good to be with you.
So let's get right into the political fray here. This morning we learned from the Erie County Republicans that they have decided to back Carl Paladino. Not a huge surprise, but potentially problematic because they control 7% almost of the weighted county vote. By my calculations, it's not looking good for Steve Levy. Can he get on the ballot?
Oh, absolutely. I don't think he counted on Erie County. He basically, between open endorsements and other people come to support him, he will be over 51%. And look, that support for Carl Paladino in Erie County, he's been a very valuable part of the party out there, supporting good causes, both for the party. He was an early backer of Chris Collins, who's a terrific fiscal conservative and has been doing a great job out there as the county executive of Erie County. And the getting rid of the tolls on the commuter roads, he was the backer of that. So look, I can understand they're supporting him, and he deserves it, certainly.
Are you going to let him speak at the convention?
Of course. I'm amazed that would even come up as a question. Of course he would. I made it clear right from the start that it's going to be an open convention, and anyone who wants to compete can. And he's certainly a credible candidate from the point of view of the things that he has done in Erie County, and the appreciation that they have for him in Erie County is shown by their endorsement of him.
So how, though, does Steve Levy actually get to 50 or more, as you say, more than 50%? He needs 50% plus one because his enrollment change hasn't actually taken root yet from the Democrats to the Republican Party. Yeah. How does he actually get there? I don't see it. I see 10% unpledged. I know it's fuzzy, but who's going to flip?
I'm not going to go over who's going to flip, but and it's not flip. Their number, look, when people have endorsed one candidate, as they did, because Rick Lassie was out there for a year collecting endorsements, it takes time for them to reverse themselves and to endorse another candidate. But Steve is just clearly the best candidate. He has excited this race. People know that he's a candidate who can take on Andrew Cuomo and potentially win, and so people are coming over his way. And the people who have endorsed another candidate are now working with their committees on things to come over and endorse Steve.
So it sounds to me like you're predicting flips. That's what it sounds like to me.
Of course.
Even though you don't want to discuss it.
There'll have to be, yeah. And look, it's not my job to be taking a look at the flips. I hear that they're going to be happening, but that's up to his campaign.
And are you lobbying on Steve Levy's behalf at this moment?
I have no. I endorse to make it clear that I thought he was the preferred candidate, but I'm not. If people want to ask me questions or why I had the stance that I have and this and that, but as far as so-called twisting arms or doing that kind of lobbying, I'm not doing that. That's not my role. My role is to run a fair and open convention in which all three candidates can compete as far as the governorship, and same with the senatorial races with both of them, so all the candidates can compete.
So actually, I do want to get to the Senate race, but before we leave the governor's race, you say that the momentum is going in Steve Levy's direction, but actually we see that the Republican Governors Association is now backing away from him. He claimed that they were very encouraging of him and had even pledged to spend between $8 and $10 million. Now you see Haley Barbour, the chairman of that organization, saying he's not going to get involved.
No, that's not what was said. And I was there at the initial meetings, and I've spoken to a lot of the backers of the Republican Governors Association, the people who actually put the money into the campaigns, and I kept encountering from them when I mentioned Rick. They said, we like him, but he can't win. Who else do you have? When they saw Steve Levy, they said, boy, Steve's good. We're willing to back him. So in the end, there's going to be some significant backing from the people who are backers of the Republican Governors Association for Steve Levy. I have talked to them. I know where they are.
Okay, wait. I'm sorry. I'm a little confused. When you say that's not what was said, what was not said? I mean, Haley Barbour is quoted in the Associated Press over the last 24 hours saying specifically that he's not going to get involved in this primary, and he may not spend at all unless he could figure out if the nominee is actually going to be can put up a fight to Andrew Cuomo.
Oh, certainly. I mean, no, Haley's going to be, and that's always been his policy. He's going to be very very tough on it. He always said, because I've been on one of their executive roundtable people for now a year and a half, so I know what they're doing and what they're going to be doing. And they're going to use triage. There's going to be those races which are clearly going to win. They're not going to invest in those. There are going to be races that we're clearly going to lose. They're not going to invest in those. What they were looking at, talking to their supporters and people here in New York, they with respect to Steve Levy, here's a candidate who can potentially win. We might back him if in fact he proves out the way we think he's going to. That's where it was really.
So the $8 to $10 million that Steve Levy says was actually promised to him never got promised?
No, you're making assumptions. There's no promises made, certainly, given what I told you the rules of the road were for it. Certainly the candidate has to show that they're capable of winning before they're going to have any funds put in it. With respect to races, generally, they have the Republican Governors Association has shown in New Jersey they put in $7 million, for example, are absolutely crucial to Chris Christie winning. They put in that period during the summer when Chris Christie, because he is subject to the financing rules in New Jersey, could not put funds in. They were crucial to the win there. They're crucial to the win in Virginia, and their funds can be very, very helpful, but it's done on that triage basis, and you have to show that you've got a good shot at winning before they're going to make the